Well, our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired. You're 50 and 0. You walked away from the game. You made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now you're 43 years old, okay? I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you. It's not that you just deserve the money, because it's hard to do.
Right. I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much.
The man who once dubbed himself the best ever is now facing serious setbacks. Floyd Mayweather is currently entangled in a major controversy, with allegations of fraudulent activity and speculation that he may be approaching complete financial collapse.
I did it the hard way. You know, I'm a kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7 of us living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. I just worked hard to get to where I got to in life. It's been hard work.
When Floyd evolved from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, his image transformed. No longer just a highly skilled fighter known for his elite defense, he rebranded himself as a self-declared icon of wealth and status. His priorities shifted from pursuing boxing legacy to showcasing his fortune, turning financial gain into his primary objective.
If you want to look at guys that never got hit, Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times. Never.
Yeah. When he fought Diego Chico Corrales, which was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like there was nothing for Diego to hit, and then all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop, left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat.
That was the Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. That was before he became Money Mayweather.
Mayweather rebranded himself as a luxury icon, showcasing his wealth and extravagant lifestyle. The spotlight moved away from his exceptional defensive prowess in the ring and onto his opulent way of living, earning tens of millions per bout and securing his place among the highest-paid athletes in history. Floyd Mayweather started his career earning $3 million per fight, but it was his bold choice to become an independent operator that sent his earnings into the stratosphere. This strategic move paved the way for him to generate billions, ultimately making him the highest-paid athlete on the planet. By breaking away from traditional promoters and taking full control of his career, Mayweather carved out a financial legacy that remains unmatched in the world of sports.
It's just complete genius.
Yes.
First of all, from just changing his style, right? He broke his hands a lot. So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
And then he changes his name to Money. And when he changes his name to Money, he turns heel. Yeah. He became like this guy and everybody wanted to see him get beat.
Yeah.
And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting and he says, I'll just start boxing people who have no chance.
Hey, why not?
However, along with his immense fortune came personal challenges. Mayweather's father disclosed that before Floyd amassed his vast wealth, they rarely had serious disagreements. But once the millions started flowing in, their relationship began to deteriorate. Floyd became consumed with extravagant spending, luxury cars, real estate, and other high-priced indulgences. This shift in priorities created strain between father and son. According to his father, people tend to change when money enters the picture.
Floyd Mayweather was the highest paid athlete in the world, and you won't believe why. Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd, and after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the highest paid athlete in the world.
As Floyd's fortune expanded, so did his arrogance. This shift in his demeanor led to the loss of several close relationships, including those with longtime friends. Mike Tyson openly criticized Mayweather's arrogance, stating there was nothing admirable about it. Tyson emphasized that Floyd needed to ground himself and rein in his ego, especially given the vast wealth he had accumulated.
We have never had an argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. We was on HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
Floyd's close friendship with rapper 50 Cent was one of the most talked about relationships in the entertainment world. However, as Floyd's wealth grew, so did the fractures in their bond. According to 50 Cent, Floyd's obsession with money became overwhelming. Floyd reportedly told 50 Cent that he never asked for his assistance, despite the strong connection they had built over the years. This rift was largely blamed on Floyd's fixation on wealth, overlooking both his legacy and those who stood by him from the start.
How do you feel about Floyd, though?
Huh?
How do you feel about
Awesome
Floyd?
fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like you was a movie star. You was a hero.
Floyd also lost one of his most promising proteges, boxer Gervonta "Tank" Davis, who felt taken advantage of by Mayweather. Tank revealed that Floyd consistently placed him in a position where he had to depend heavily on Mayweather. Despite the significant earnings Davis made from his fights, Floyd reportedly failed to compensate him fairly, which ultimately led to Tank cutting ties with him.
They're going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you'd already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right? So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he going to say he wants to, you know, to give me the other half of it? Well, I got to ask you for it.
Right.
And then when he...
Are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, you know, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell you how to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Tank also accused Floyd of struggling to accept anyone who outperformed him, growing envious of fighters who earned more or were regarded as greater. He even claimed that Muhammad Ali was not superior to him.
Or I'm going to be back asking you for money. Nah, why would I do that? I'll give her a couple dollars. I'll take some, whatever. Whenever you need some money, You feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up that, like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And, like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But, like, to somebody to understand, you understand, like, what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, because if I got to put you in a position that always need me, you always got to, I'm going to just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if I'm a, like, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot. And I know you going to go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that, $48 of plot power, I'm going to always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really, just put me in a position to be able to, you know, make my own thing. And I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I mean, like, I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that, he said, okay, cool, I see what's going on. That's when he started taking over my career.
Mayweather's arrogance extended beyond his personal relationships. He openly flaunted his wealth, which only deepened the public's resentment toward him. His constant display of luxury, combined with provocative statements, made him one of the most disliked boxers in history. Comments such as his insistence that he was the greatest, regardless of others' accomplishments, only intensified the negative view many held of him.
I'm going to say this. Okay. Out of all these guys in the history of boxing, yes, I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing. Okay, Ali. Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights. Yes. And if we really tell the truth, if we really tell the truth, well, that's what you're here for. You're here to tell the truth. What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually. Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean, we just telling the truth. And I love Ali, of course.
Because of his bold attitude and flashy display of wealth, Floyd became one of the most disliked figures in boxing history. His refusal to address controversies, despite his behavior, only fueled the hostility. He frequently stated that he didn't care about public opinion and would keep fighting, whether in exhibitions or official matches. This disregard for criticism made him even more polarizing, with many fans and analysts questioning his true motives.
In all of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't. Okay, and to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Burt Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back up and won the fight.
After retiring from professional boxing, Floyd shifted his focus to exhibition matches. However, these bouts attracted considerable criticism. Many felt that Mayweather was damaging his legacy by facing lesser-known opponents primarily for the financial gain.
Like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit. And he's like, look at my $1 million watch. Look at my fucking jet. Look at my house. Look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed. Like this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And
my most expensive watch that I currently own is $18 million.
One watch. And so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes. Yeah. He creates envy and you want him to lose, but he's not gonna.
His exhibition matches quickly gained a reputation as cash grabs, with critics arguing that the bouts were more focused on securing the biggest share of the profits than delivering competitive or meaningful fights for the fans.
Floyd, what does it mean for you to go out on your terms, not on anybody else's terms, but you to make the decision, you know what, this is it, I don't care what all you guys say, I'm out of here, I'm done?
I mean, I think I think I just had a game plan. I had a brilliant game plan. The game plan was to be very outspoken. You know, I was born with personality. I was born with charisma. speak my mind, speak from the heart. You know, I don't hate or dislike anyone. I want to go out there, you know, and just do what I have to do inside that square circle. Choose a tremendous team on the outside that's going to help me take things to the next level, and that's what I did.
Floyd's reputation for exploiting exhibition fights took another hit with allegations that he failed to fully compensate his opponents. Fighters such as Deji and Logan Paul claimed they never received the full payment promised for their bouts against Mayweather.
The shot. But you know what it is? I think obviously with Floyd, he gets the biggest percentage of the purse, isn't it?
Yeah, but he can still get the biggest percentage of the purse.
Yeah, Ricky Hatton's gonna want more. He'll want more.
He'll want more. He'll want more.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they fought in their heyday, Floyd got more.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So,
Of
you know what I'm
course.
saying?
No, but Floyd wants like 95% more. 90% more. You know what I'm saying? It's not like...
He's like 95, 5.
Yeah.
That's how he likes to do it, innit? Because I'm not going to lie, if Floyd fought Ricky, both of them now, catch weight, 154, O2 Arena, it will sell out.
It will sell out.
As time went on, Floyd's career and the surrounding hype gradually faded. Once a dominant force in the boxing world, his offering behavior started to eclipse his in-ring achievements. His alleged involvement in a $42 million scam, along with growing evidence of questionable financial dealings, further damaged his reputation. Reports surfaced that Floyd Mayweather was stranded in Dubai over unpaid debts, underscoring the severity of his financial difficulties.
See a lot of people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you
a boxing
you
thing?
don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy
right
going,
now.
I want to make $30 million. I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet. Ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights and you make them, and Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong, you do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever, the commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike, I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front. So they pay the fighters. They don't have to wait for, that was the big problem in the past, is that these boxing promoters would come in and they wouldn't make as much money as they thought they were going to do, so they would stiff the fighters and not pay the guys. And that's why these regulations are in place in these different states.
Mayweather made a concerted effort to build his reputation as the highest-paid athlete worldwide. He frequently bragged about his earnings, asserting that no other athlete in sports history could rival his financial achievements.
There's some drama going on about Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai. However, that man was at Game 5 of the Clippers game. He's claiming that he is stuck in Dubai because there's debts that he has to pay off and they're not letting him leave. And we're sitting at Game 5 and I look over and I'm like, dude, that's Floyd Mayweather. Royce takes a video of Floyd Mayweather at the Clippers game, posts it on his TikTok. It goes viral. He posts 2 videos, both go viral. In the comments, nobody is believing him. They're like, that's not really Floyd. That's a clone. Floyd's stuck in Dubai. And the crazy thing was, usually when you're at these games, they'll have like, oh, special guest, celebrity of the night. They didn't show Floyd on the thing. But we have it on camera. But go check out Royce's videos if you guys want to see it.
Chael Sonnen, a well-known fighter, made it clear that Floyd's choice to keep fighting exhibition matches was motivated purely by money. Sonnen pointed out that with billions in earnings, Floyd had no real need to compete just for financial gain. This move was viewed as a betrayal of his legacy, as Sonnen believed Floyd was compromising his honor and reputation for personal profit.
What did you see when you watched that fight?
Look, Floyd needs to keep doing what he's doing, which is fighting complete tomato cans who we've never heard of before. I've never seen anybody in the history of America get so rich and so famous out of having complete wimps throwing punch at their faces. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's happened before. What about Rihanna? Shame on you. I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. But, however, boxing has a misconception. Too soon? Was it too soon?
Eddie Hearn, a prominent boxing promoter, criticized Floyd's approach to the sport, labeling his fights as NAF, and suggesting that Mayweather was more interested in pay-per-view revenue than the fans' experience. Hearn argued that Floyd's transition from a competitive athlete to a money-focused entertainer had undermined the integrity of his career.
You know that Floyd is still getting in there as recently as this weekend because he needed the money.
You think Floyd's fighting because he needs the money?
Yeah.
Really? Why? He think he blew through all of his money?
Get the fuck.
Well, he blew through a lot of it, but I'm sharing for you, it wasn't what you thought it was
He
to
blew
start
through
with.
it and wasn't making as much as
Yeah,
he
they're
says.
claiming he was doing $100 million a fight, and I'm claiming for you, he in his whole career has made about $100 million. There's a very wow.
You know, Floyd had this long career. I could imagine him making more than 100 million.
I understand that. Floyd was not Muhammad Ali, and Floyd wasn't Mike Tyson. I got it. I know people think he made 130 in a night. I'm sharing with you, he didn't, and no boxer has. No boxer's ever made 130 million in one night. So this is silly. Floyd Mayweather has closed down a mall. He has rented out the entire mall, and he spent $15 million. The proof that this happened is Floyd in a mall and Floyd with a bag of cash that probably had about 100 grand in it. He says, man, I'm a VIP, I'm a VP, I'm a VVVVIP. Do you want to know why he was whispering, guys? He was whispering so that he didn't disrupt the employees and fellow shoppers at the mall. It's okay. This is a gimmick. Floyd did everything that Floyd is supposed to do. It's strange that a 50-year-old man would continue to do what he did when he was 28 years old. That's strange.
After years of lavish spending and acquiring luxury assets, Floyd Mayweather's fortune has significantly diminished, leaving him nearly broke. His once glorious career has faded into history, and his efforts to remain relevant through exhibition fights have been met with harsh criticism. Matters worsened when he was implicated in a $42 million scam, triggering widespread backlash. Business Insider debunked his claims of owning 62 buildings, revealing he held only partial ownership in some. This revelation fueled further outrage, as Floyd's relentless boasting about his wealth has led to accusations of dishonesty and deception.
Somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000. Something like that, if that.
I believe so.
We've had some bad ones. But this is, I've seen a map. Someone posted a map yesterday. I mean, I don't know anyone that even knows Floyd Mayweather is fighting on Saturday. Who is putting the money up for these events? Like, I think that the Mayweather fights are so naff, to be honest with you. But I don't actually mind. Like, at least Aaron Chalmers will go out and he can box and he'll have a go and like whatever. But literally no one knows that is even happening. Someone has hired out the O2 Arena thinking they're going to sell out the O2 Arena with Floyd Mayweather and they are going to do a couple of 100,000 buys on pay-per-view. It's either going to get cancelled before Saturday or someone is going to do their absolute conkers or people are not going to get paid.
There is a little bit of embellishing that you kind of have to do in order to get your foot in the door with some of these folks because they otherwise ain't going to deal with you. So it does require a little bit of fake it till you make it. I'm not saying that that report is true. I'm just simply saying that if there were some validity to that, that's not really the end of the world. He ain't lying about having ownership. He just may have embellished the truth about having no partners. Also, you got people calling him broke, which is crazy to me, man.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for the next update,